You're welcome. So this is the part 2 of how to make C# project. In this video, let us understand how to create database and tables in Microsoft SQL Server. So let us understand what is Microsoft SQL Server, what are the data types, and then SQL commands. So SQL commands are very important. If you know depth SQL commands, then easy for us to manage all the data and sending the data, retrieve the data. All this can be achieved using SQL commands. So how C# is important? Same way SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Even that is a language. You need to learn SQL also in depth. First, let us understand the SQL Server. The SQL Server is a database. So this database you can use for individual system or network system or web applications. So when you're making desktop applications, so this is the system. Fine. So if this is the database, so this system is to access the database and then we can communicate with the database. This is a system. If there is only one system and the corresponding database located in the same system, there is not much problem. So therefore, we can keep all the files here only and then we can work. So in this project, we'll do the same way. But the demand is like we can have one database server. So this is the database server, a separate system. So what you call as a database server. So here we'll keep the database. So there are n number of system. Okay. So this is system 1. This is a system 2. This is a system 3. So all these systems will connect to the this database. So they are all working with this database. So this is the network database server. So therefore a local area network. So all these systems will communicate with this database and they can get the data or they can send the data. So it's a company model. Like in a company, so they have many computers. So all these computers connected to the database server. Same way there is also application. So if it's a desktop application, the application will run in each system. For example, it's something like inventory. Some purchase people will enter the purchase, some people enter the sales, some people check for the stock, and there are some more people to manage the rest of the things. In all these cases, we'll communicate with this particular database. Right. The next one is a web server. So this is the web server, web database server. So now around the globe, okay. So irrespective of your locations, you can able to connect to the web. So this is system 2, this is the system 3. So if you have internet connections, whereas here is a local area network. So if via local area network you're connecting, but whereas you're connecting this with the internet connection. So this is the internet and it will connect to this web server and we can send the data and we can able to retrieve the data. So that's all possible. For example, your Gmail. So that is in the server. So there is a web server where data is located. So we can connect to the web server and we can fetch the data and we can bring it over here. So these are the three different scenarios. Like, so we can keep the database and the application both in the same system and we can work. That is what we call the standalone system or standalone application. And next one is a network based application. Next is a web server application. So these are the three different scenarios. Our SQL server will serve the purpose in all the three scenarios. So, but because we are making a mini project, a small project, so in an individual system, we can we start with this, and then it definitely can be extend to all these two levels. So next, let us look at the data types. Even data types are very important to create the tables. So here are the data types, important data types which is required to create the tables in a Microsoft SQL Server. So it start with bit. So where is bit means 0 or 1. It's like a boolean value. So it's a true or false. So therefore you can store 0 or 1 here. So that is a bit. One next is a tiny integer. So it will take up to 255. So if the values are less than 255, so then we can always use the tiny integer. For example, age. Okay, if the person age naturally it won't exceed 100. Some very rare case 110. So it never go to 255. Therefore, you can always use the tiny integer. Next is a small integer. So this will take, these are the values. So in case you want a bigger values, we need to use the small integer. Integer will take again up to billion. So therefore, you can use integer in case of the values are very big, up to 10 digit. Next, much more bigger is the big integer. Then you have a numeric. So numeric, you can declare how many digits you want. Therefore, you can use the numeric. If there are decimal values, the more decimal values, then you have to use the decimal. Fine. So this is the basic data type for numbers. So most of the time we use a tiny integer or a small integer. In values are very big, maybe you need to go to the different data types. So here are the character data types. So one is character, varchar max, and then text. So here are the characters. So if you declare varchar, you can go up to 8,000 characters. Even in case of character, you can go up to 8,000 characters. So this is a fixed width, is a variable width. Fixed width means even you don't enter the data, so it will occupy some space. Whereas in case of variable width, whatever the space, for example, say varchar of 10, it won't allocate the 10 characters. So next is the Unicode characters. The main difference between the regular one and the Unicode characters use the encoding method. That is a standard method to convert a character to the corresponding number. So therefore here we have nchar, nvarchar, ntext. So we can use nvarchar, it can take up to 4000 characters. So again it is a variable width and n character is a fixed width. So therefore, why Unicode character? If you are using a different software, for example, tomorrow you want to use Java or next you want to use a PHP, that time if you want to communicate with the SQL server, if it's a Unicode character, it's always better. So therefore, generally we'll use the Unicode characters. Right. So these are the data types. So let's see that how to create the tables in SQL Server. So in the previous video, we discussed like how to start Visual Studio, how to install, and how to create the forms. So let's start the Visual Studio again. So we'll open the same project. So if you're not yet watched the previous video, please watch that video. It's provided in the description. Otherwise, you can go to iBlix tutorials. So select our tutorial and then go to videos. So you can see that here is the link. So please watch this. So first you watch the first part and then can come back to the second part. So now I open the project which is already created in the previous video. So this is the project. We discussed about Solution Explorer, we discussed about the properties, we discussed about the toolbars. And then so we learn like how to design the background, how to add a pictures, then how to put the text boxes, labels, all these things. So in this video, we learn one more window, what we call as a Server Explorer. So this is a Server Explorer. So in order to communicate with the SQL Server, we require a Server Explorer. So it's an interface to the SQL Server. Okay, so there are some database existing already. So what I'll do is I'll just delete them. This I don't want. Fine. So here you can see data connections and here is a server, SQL Server. So we go to data connections to create the new database and to communicate with the database. The first step is you select the data connections, right click, then go to add connection. When you have add connections, you need to select Microsoft SQL Server database file. That is a SQL client. So select Microsoft SQL database file. So this is the easiest way because when you copy from one folder to other folder, easy to deploy the database also, like easy to copy the database also. If you select the SQL Server, probably you need to take the backup and then you have to restore. Little lengthy process. Therefore, always we prefer the Microsoft SQL Server database file. Next, database file name, new or existing. So you can create a new one also here, or you can open the existing one. So in order to create a new one, the important thing you need to do is you need to go to browse and see that you have selected the debug folder. Okay, so if it's in the project folder, so from the project folder you have to go to bin folder. From the bin you have to go to debug folder. So here exe file will be created. The project exe file will be there here. Therefore, even the database in the same location, then easy for us to reference the database and communicate with the database. Now give the file name. So this is banking data, or you can give banking database, no problem. So click open. Then we can go to OK. So you can click the OK button, or you can do the test connection. Okay, database is not there. Okay, let me create this. So it says that do you want to create this? Say yes. See that the database is created. So practice this by giving the different names, understand how to create the database. So easy step. So right click on this, go to add connections, then select the folder. And there you have to give the name and then click OK. So your database is created. Now if I expand this, you can see there are tables. views, stored procedure, functions, synonym, types and all. So to learn all these things, we have to watch the separate videos. But we are interested in tables. Let us learn the tables. Now if I expand tables, there are no tables. We need to create the tables. For example, for this I want to create a table. For login table, I want to create a table. For transactions, I want to create the table. So all the tables we can create in the tables. Fine. So if I right click and say add new table, so here you can see there is a design window. Sorry. So from the design window we can able to create the table. But we prefer generally write the SQL query, so that will be more easier. Therefore what I'll do is I'll just close this. Okay, so let me open one notepad file. So here we'll use the SQL statement. So in order to create the table, you have to use create table. So what is the table name? So this is the login table. Then open bracket. So what is the column name? So here is a column name, username, and here is a varchar of 10. So 10 characters. Then password. So I'll just password p word, and also avoid giving the reserve words. For example, name, password, if, for. So some keywords are there, no important keywords. Don't use that keyword. Sometimes they'll give problem. And also not take the spaces. Don't give spaces also. Um, so avoid spaces. That is always better. Okay. So again, you get the varchar of 10. So both are 10. So then you can have a semicolon. So this is what SQL statement to create the tables. Now what we'll do is we'll copy this. So come back to tables. Right click. You can go to new query. Tables, new query. So here is a query, so you can paste it over there, and then we need to run this. To run, so here is a button. So this run is totally, this is to run the project, this is to run the query. So run this, created complete successfully. So therefore, if you refresh the window, you will get the login table here. So login table created. Now let's create the customer table. So again same thing, create table, customer table. Okay, customer account number. So therefore you can say account number only, AC number, account number. So account number will start with 1001, 4 digit. So therefore small integer will do the job. Therefore I can take it as a small int. Next is the customer name. This I can take as a varchar of 50. Address, let's say customer address, C address. This is varchar of 250. 250 characters. Next you can take the mobile number. So therefore you can say mobile number. Again you can take varchar of exactly 10 characters and only one mobile number you are saving, you can take 10 only here. You take email also, email. So again this is varchar. So 50 characters. Okay. So let us take only 5. So the 5 columns are there here. We are not using the constraint here. Probably in the later stages we'll see how to add the constraint. This is the customer table. Copy the customer table. So again I can close this. So I don't want to save this. We can run there only. Again I'll show you like how to do this. Right click, new query. So you have a query window here. Right click, that will be pasted, and you can run. So created. So now if you refresh this, you can see that 2 tables are created. So this query, if you want you can save, otherwise no need to save, let it be there. Because we have in the notepad, so that will do the job. So after creating the tables, you can see that we need to get the connection string. So this is the banking database. And if you go to properties window, so there is a connection string here. So this connection string is important. So this is the connection string we want. So go to home and hold the shift key, press enter key. So the whole thing will be selected to copy this. Then I'll just show you like how the connection string looks. So this was the connection string. So here the complete path is located here. So instead of path, we can always remove the path because we don't require a path. You have to use the two piping keys and then you say data directory. Data directory, as I told already, it will take up to the exe file path. So generally exe file will be located in a debug folder. So therefore it will take the path automatically. So instead of giving the path, we can use the data directory is a global environment variable which will return the path. So using that path, we can link to this particular database. So this I'll show you in the next video how to connect to the database and how do we make communication between the database and the form. Okay, so learn all these things as I told already. Create a different projects and create a different tables and then practice it. Thank you.